Hi, it's Fr Columba here. I hope you have been enjoying the videos. As you know, you're able to watch these videos for free because they're on YouTube. And that's just how it works, folks. Congratulations. Hope you enjoy them. I certainly enjoy making them, and the team, there's a whole team that works on these. So they're free to you, but they're not actually free to make. So we are a crowd-funded organization. If you would like to support us, we would like to receive your support. If you click on the link below, there's different ways that you can give. If you'd like to be a regular monthly giver, that would be amazing, or just once off, whatever you can give, big or small. We'd really appreciate it. God bless you, and you're in our prayers. And today I want to talk about preparing for Lent. No, preparing for Easter by means of Lent. That's what Lent is. All right, one of my favorite authors is this guy here. Not St. Peter, it's actually this guy here, Pope Benedict. Yeah, just love what he said. Now, some of the stuff is like deeply theological and a bit dense, and I fall asleep. So when I need to fall asleep, I'll read some of that. But when I want some spiritual insight and nourishment, man, he really has amazing stuff. I'm going to grab something out of this book here. It's Dogma and Preaching. Pope Benedict says that Lent, originally, it was just for those preparing to be baptized. It started off kind of short, and then they elongated it, and it was just this time of preparation, this journey. And they realized becoming a Christian is not just, one snap event, you get baptized, ta-da, but this ongoing journey, at least 40 days long. Over time, Lent was opened up not just for those becoming baptized, but also penitents. Penitents were those who had sinned seriously. And at that time in the church, before they could receive communion again, they would do some serious, lengthy penance, public often. So everybody knew, you're a man. So just be glad for private confessions, folks. Sometime after that, the whole church was brought into this process of Lent. Not because they were getting baptized. Obviously, it's a preparation for Easter. It was this recognition and this growing understanding within the church that you can't just be a Christian. You always have to be becoming a Christian. It's always this process of getting more like Jesus. I'm sure I've said it to you before. We're either going forward in a relationship with God, or we're going back. There is no kind of just going to pause here on the ski slope. Like, no, you're going forward or you're going back. I'm not sure if the ski slope image works for going back. That would be really difficult. I guess you could climb back up. Anyway, so my thought then is, along with Pope Benedict's thought is that we would look at our Lent this year through that lens, through the lens of, imagine you were going to be baptized this Easter. Imagine you're not a Christian. Imagine you didn't have the sacraments or a relationship with Jesus in your life and you wanted it. How would you approach this Lent? If this was the time of preparation for you to enter into Jesus in your baptism, how would you approach it? What would your thoughts be? How focused would you be? Because, we can just reduce it to a time of penance and, say a few extra prayers and don't eat chocolate or something. But it's actually far more than that. It's not giving something up. It's preparing for something amazing. And for ourselves, okay, so we're preparing for, heaven. We try to prepare maybe to receive Jesus in Holy Communion every week or maybe even every day. And those are like super important aspects of our life. But a lot of what our preparation should be for any of the seasons of the year should be this reconnecting with that ultimate grace. St. John Paul II, he said that the most important moment of his life was the moment of his baptism. Now, he was baptized in Poland, and then, a super Catholic country, and obviously he was baptized almost before he was born, really soon after he was born, they dunked him. So he couldn't remember it, wasn't aware of it, but he certainly was very aware by his faith that this moment was when everything happened. This was the moment when salvation came to him. There's this great line that Jesus says about Zacchaeus. The story of Zacchaeus, the tax collector who climbs the tree to see Jesus, and Jesus, wants to have dinner with him. And Zacchaeus has this big conversion just through the fact of Jesus wanting to eat with him, which is amazing. And Jesus says this line at the end, today salvation has come to this house. And that moment in St. John Paul II's life, when he was baptized as a child, he recognized that as his moment when salvation came to his house, came to his soul. And for us too, brothers and sisters, when we really take hold of this and enter back into these moments of incredible grace, especially your baptism, and you don't have to remember it. You don't have to have been an adult when it happened for you to connect with that grace and to really profit from it. And the more we will use this Lent as a preparing of our soul to enter back into that at the Easter Vigil, the more grace we will actually receive. There's this really interesting, I wouldn't even say theory, but there's this experience that a lot of people give testimony to. St. Ignatius was really big on this. St. Ignatius of Loyola, the founder of the Jesuits, in his exercises about doing retreats and prayer and all that sort of thing, big on returning to the moment of a grace. He would say that if a time of prayer or if something in your prayer was a real blessing for you and you experienced grace, that you should keep returning to it. Like a bee that keeps returning to the same flower because the flower still has lots of goodness. So too, we can have these graces, these moments in prayer. And if you just remember them, the grace actually gets re-released. And if you remember then these, not just like a moment in prayer, but you remember back to, let's say, the most intimate moment where you most felt God's presence. You actually, it's not just this human experience of like, oh, I remember that, yeah. But something of that grace is renewed in your life. It's re-released. The word remember, it has to do with putting something back together, to remember a thing, to put it back together. There's something in which you actually connect to the reality of it. And even if we can't remember our baptism, we can meditate on it. We can, by faith, engage with it and believe. I believe that's the moment you came to me, Jesus, to remain with me forever. And as you do that, you actually can experience more grace. And we have this period, not just like a once-off in prayer experience, but we have this whole period of 40 days. And it's like this opportunity to pull the bow back, pull the arrow of the bow back. It's a bow and arrow image, just in case you're having trouble following me there. So you pull the bow back, and the further you pull it back, the further it will go. So if you just do a little, but if you pull it all the way back, you get a lot more distance. The more we prepare, the more we enter into Lent, brothers and sisters, the more grace we will receive, and the more then we can give to others. So I pray that you have a really, really blessed Lent this year, and that you most especially reconnect to the gift that Jesus did for you on the cross through his resurrection and how that came home to you in your baptism. God bless you.